This story killed me. I mean, this is one of my favorite things about the World Cup. Okay, this is so funny. Israeli reporters who went to cover the World Cup in Qatar, and every time they tried to interview people, some of those people would ask, what channel is this? Like, what country are you from? And as soon as they said Israel, the fans that they were interviewing would just run away. And it's so funny because they're like from all over the place, right? I put all these clips in one thread on Twitter. So if you want to go watch them again, go follow me on Twitter. Here, let's go through them together. This was the first one. I mean, it's so hilarious. It's so hilarious.
Which channel is this?
Israel channel. You don't like us?
She just walked away, man. So she's a Japan fan. We've got a fan from Saudi Arabia.
Palestine, there is no Israel. Sorry, please. You are not welcome here. Even if this is Qatar, this is our country. You are not welcome here. There is only Palestine. There is no Israel.
So I don't know if you can hear it. He said, there's no Israel. There's only Palestine. And even though this is Qatar, this is still our country. He's basically saying, it's an Arab country, right? So you're not welcome here. Here are fans from Qatar.
This? Yes. For Israel.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Why? Arabic.
Yeah, I wrote the translation.
We are from Palestine. مرحبا. أهلا. أنا من إسرائيل. ما في إسرائيل في شيء اسمه فلسطين. لا في إسرائيل. فلسطين. في إسرائيل. أمر واقع. من اليوم.
Isn't that weird? The first thing he says to him is hi in Arabic, right? It says مرحبا أنا من إسرائيل. Why would you say that unless you're trying to provoke people? Like you're in an Arab country, you've seen someone with a Palestinian flag and just walk up and say, hi, I'm from Israel. You're trying to get a reaction. I mean, and thank God, everybody is acting with enormous civility and just walking away, right? They say no, thank you, and walk away. They say free Palestine. That's it. But I'll play the rest of the video. Look.
We are from Palestine. مرحبا. أهلا. أنا من إسرائيل. ما في إسرائيل في شيء اسمه فلسطين. لا في إسرائيل. فلسطين. في إسرائيل. أمر واقع. من اليوم ليوم القيامة في إسرائيل. في إسرائيل. وإمساك السياسي. في إسرائيل. أمر واقع. في إسرائيل. عيب عليكم. في إسرائيل.
Man, this guy's so funny. His Arabic is very good, huh? He says عيب عليكم, which basically means like shame on you, Here, Morocco fans.
We are from Israel. Israel. Yeah. Hey, new friends. What? We have peace.
Israel, no. Palestinian. Israel, no. Palestinian.
But we have peace, huh? Peace. You sign peace.
He's saying you sign peace. He's talking about the Abraham Accords. I'm going to get into those in a second, right? This Israeli, he was so spooked. He said he's from Ecuador. He tried to hide that he's Israeli. Look at this.
Where are you from?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. No, this is not Ecuadori language.
Yeah, it's Ecuador TV.
No, free Palestine.
Yeah, free.
Where are you from?
Ecuador.
Ecuador. No, this is not Ecuadori language.
Yeah, it's Ecuador TV.
No, free Palestine.
Yeah, free. Why?
he just gave up at the end. He's like, yeah, free. Why not? God, man, these clips, I mean, they're so funny. There's some other Brazilian fans also. I couldn't manage to put them all together because there's so many, but I tried to make the most of the thread. And it's funny because you have some people that look at this, not a lot, right? Like not a lot, but you have some people look at this and say like, oh, they're harassing the Israeli reporters. Well, that's not true, man. It's the Israeli reporters. I just played you the video. Are walking up to them and saying, "Hi, I'm from Israel." They're trying to get a reaction out of them. They're literally making a point to get that across to the fans. They know full well what the reaction is going to be. And if you want to talk about harassing journalists and reporters, I can show you the treatment that Arab journalists get in occupied Palestine in Jerusalem. This is just last week. Right? So we can compare, apples to apples. So this is Leila Oude. She works for France 24, the Arabic version. So France 24 is a French channel, but they have an Arabic version. And she's reporting from Jerusalem. And these Israelis, they start harassing her. So they it's not like, oh, we don't want to talk to you, and then they walk away. No. She's not even talking to them. They just like surround her. They start blocking the camera so she can't speak, and then they say death to Arabs. They're chanting death to Arabs while she's live on the air. Look at this.
بأن هذه سليخة نحن بالشدور يشير.
So she's reporting in Arabic, but she's answering them in Hebrew.
أنت معبر لي. زوز مبا.
كل عربي يروح لرشا.
Now he's talking to her in Arabic. He's saying all Arabs go to Russia.
زوز مبا.
לא רוצה.
والله.
לא רוצה. والله לא רוצה.
אני בעבודה.
לא מעניין אותי.
אתה מפריע אותי.
לא מעניין אותי.
يلا زوز مبا. بلغتنا العربية.
מוות לערבים. מוות לערבים.
سنعود إليك.
They just called her a whore. I heard Sharmuta in there, right? They called her a whore, and they're saying death to Arabs. I mean, look at the difference. You want to talk about disrespecting journalists? Look at how Israelis treat Palestinians and Arabs on their own land, right? That there's no comparison. I don't need to remind you also what happened to Shireen, right? They killed her, and then they attacked her funeral, right? Do I have to play the clip? Here's the clip. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. It speaks for itself. And I think this is really interesting, these videos, because and the Israeli, he brought up the peace accords, right? This is very interesting because it shows you again how there's a disparity between the people who signed the Abraham Accords and the people living there, right? Just because Bahrain and the UAE signed these accords with Israel doesn't mean that people there in Bahrain accept Israel. They don't. When the Israeli foreign minister was visiting, people, they came out and protested, right? Say, you're la ahlan wa la sahlan, you're not welcome. And in Morocco, Morocco didn't sign them, but you had at the same time Sudan and Morocco also kind of making their relationship with Israel. Although again, I will be clear here, this is on a state level, not popular level. That became a bit more apparent. And the funny thing is, the Israeli diplomats in Morocco, people disliked them so much they couldn't even find an apartment to let, right? Because they need apartment spaces for the embassy staff, they need for the embassy itself, all these things. So they could not even find an apartment. No one, as soon as people found out they're Israeli, they didn't want to let them an apartment because they're not okay with what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. And they don't want their country to have ties or normalization with Israel. So, this is like a slap in the face. It's like waking them up. It's like, yeah, you may have signed this piece of paper, which doesn't mean anything, but you go and speak to the people, they don't like you. And they don't like you because of what you're doing to the Palestinians. And you know that because you saw all these people, they're not Palestinian. And what do they say? Free Palestine. So there's this common belief. And some of them are not even Arab, right? You have Brazilian fans, you have Japanese fans saying the same thing. We don't want to talk to you, and free Palestine. So this is really, really important. I bet you they're not going to cover this on CNN, right? They're not going to show you the real news. They're not going to show you that part about the World Cup. And just as a last note, this is the first time an Arab country hosts the World Cup. Now, Qatar does not have ties with Israel officially. They do have ties under the table. What they did do this time for the World Cup in 2022, they made an exception. They said Palestinians and Israelis, because Palestinians are living under Israeli occupation, they can come to the World Cup, but it's an exception. Right, so as soon as the World Cup is over, you can't come to Qatar as an Israeli, and you'd be lucky if you could come to Qatar as a Palestinian. Lucky, meaning the Israelis actually let you leave. Palestinians don't have passports; they don't have freedom of movement, so they're stuck. And another interesting thing is if you go on the FIFA website and you look at, so this is the official FIFA website, and you look at the sales section. Israel is not listed, okay? So they have, it's divided by continents and regions. And if you look at Asia, Middle East, there's no Israel and there's Palestine mentioned there, right? Because usually it's nice to see this because usually it's the other way around. you'll have Google Maps or you'll have, actual maps or whatever referring to Palestine as Israel, and they completely omit Palestine, which is disgusting, right? So give them a taste of their own medicine, right? Let me show you one last clip also. This is another instance of an Israeli trying to, provoke football fans. I wrote the translation here, okay? So you can follow.
مرحبا اهلا شو اخبارك؟ الحمد لله. انت من لبنان؟ ايه انا من اسرائيل يا اخي. انت من اسرائيل؟ انت وصلت لعندي. انت شو جايب؟ انت اجت لهان. الله فلسطين. ما في اسرائيل؟ في اسرائيل يا سيدي. في اسرائيل. وين انت من وين؟ انا من اسرائيل. فلسطين.
So again, the first thing he tells them is, "Hey, how's it going? I'm from Israel." Oh man, this just cracks me up. Really, it cracks me up. It's so funny. And this is what the Iranian fans did. So this guy, he was live on the air. He was reporting, and they came and started putting scarves around him with the Iranian flag, football scarves, right?
כן, תראו, שמו עליי פה משקפיים, זה פחות או יותר לבל הטירוף שהיה, אבל כאילו, אין דרך להסביר בכלל את מה שהלך באצטדיון. הקהל היה חלק מהמשחק, הוא דחף את השחקנים, והאמת שאיראן הייתה טובה יותר מווילס היום בכל פרמטר. סרדר אזמון שם פגע בקורה ומסר במקום להבקיע בגול הראשון, אם אתם זוכרים, במחצית הראשונה, מה שהיה נבדל, אבל אין מה לעשות, האוהדים האלה של טימלי זה פשוט משהו מטורף. ושוב אני אומר, מונדיאל במזרח התיכון, you can hate it or you can love it, אבל אין דבר כמו מה שהולך עכשיו באחמד אלנעלי. תראו איזה מצב הגעתי.
אורי, בא לי לשאול אותך עוד שאלות כדי שנמשיך לדבר וימשיכו לשים עליך פריטים ומרצ'נדייז וצעיפים וכובעים, אבל אנחנו צריכים להמשיך. תודה רבה.
Honestly, man, that was funny as hell. That it's almost wholesome. It's almost wholesome. Yeah, even the Israelis are laughing at it. You see the difference between this and Israelis like surrounding a reporter and yelling death to Arabs? Do you see the difference? It's, it speaks for itself. Almost every single match, if you're watching, you can see Palestinian flags in the stands. This is the Moroccan team. They did very well. And they qualified for the knockout stages. And these are the players themselves, not just the fans. They went out and they started flying the Palestinian flag on the pitch. See? So you got love for Palestine from all the way from Morocco to Syria to Oman. Doesn't matter. And even the international fans, like I showed you, Japan, Brazil, they all know. Everybody knows the truth. Everybody knows. And so that's very nice to see that, this solidarity, because usually they're not allowed to express it. And that's a whole bunch of hypocrisy, right? Because as soon as the Ukraine war started, it's okay to fly Ukrainian flags. They even changed the corner. You got four corners on the pitch. Each one has a flag, usually red or yellow, and they changed it to Ukrainian flag, and that was fine all of a sudden. And then when people would bring Palestinian flags, they would find the club. They say your fans are out of order. They're causing chaos. They're bringing politics into football. We can't allow that. So there you go. It's all love.